All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking about real music and doing it in real time for a couple of real people out there just like you, just like me. After yesterday's video performances, it's like three people maybe. So thank you for watching those videos. If you could go back and watch them again, it might be helpful. Going to be talking about this rift that I think is real between Neal Schon and Steve Perry. I've mentioned it before, but this has to do with who gets the credit for what. So it's an interesting conversation. By the way, I had someone ask me, who's Hugo, right? New patron who joined on Patreon. Thank you, by the way. Anyone who wants to join, you can do it for $1 a month, $2 a month, whatever. And I answered, Hugo is in the band Voyage, Hugo Valenti. If I called Hugo, he might actually answer the phone. Good guy. This album from last year and into this year, just phenomenal. Could be my album of the year for this year. It was last year, but I'm kind of prone to go with something a little newer. But over on the endangeredcds.com website, this thing is breaking records. All right. So you have to go over there to understand what that's all about. Also, just a reminder, my friends over at Modern Retro Radio are doing an indie artist weekend this weekend. So you got to tune in for that. ModernRetroRadio.com, playing all kinds of great music that you won't hear on corporate radio. They do this all the time. During the week, this week, and usually they play classic music or classic artists and their music that you don't get to hear on corporate radio, which, you know how corporate radio is these days. It's a mess, right? So the mess, though, continues between, sorry about the transition, between Neal Schon and Steve Perry to some degree, as who gets the credit. This headline says Neal Schon refuses to give the Sopranos all the credit for Journey's success. Now, of course, you remember, like many years ago, I don't know how many years ago, Don't Stop Believin' was in the season finale of a Sopranos episode. And after that, the song was being downloaded more than any song in history. So the debate now, and this debate will go on until Journey decides that they're not going to tour anymore, who's doing more to keep the catalog going? Now, a band who's out on the road tends to get some publicity. People show up for the shows, and then new people go, and then they want to buy the music, maybe, or maybe they'll just stream the music. But nobody can really argue that the Sopranos episode was really big. This is what Neal Schon has said, though. As far as it being a positive for us, I can't believe that this song just surfaces in so many great shows. And when the Chicago White Sox won the World Series in 2005, the St. Louis Cardinals winning games last year, the song just continues to be a big hit. So it doesn't even matter that we did it back in 1981. It was a feel-good song, and it's got a positive message, which is true, right? So why is this a battle between Neal Schon and Steve Perry? Well, Steve Perry, once he decided he was okay with the song being in The Sopranos, he kind of took control of things and made sure the song was being used appropriately in the show. Whereas the other guys were like, yeah, we'll sign off on that. They weren't really doing any oversight, whereas Perry has been involved with remastering the old catalog and with liner notes and all the old CBS releases where, you know, Perry is involved. Perry has gone in there and made sure that everything is done up to his specifications. Perry comes off as a perfectionist. Nothing happens until we go through Steve. Apparently, Steve is now holding up some other thing that Journey wants to do, and they're basically waiting for him to sign off on it. And if he does, then they can move forward. If he doesn't, then they can't do it. And this has been what Journey's been dealing with now for 25 plus years. It's just, wonder what Uncle Steve's going to have to say about this. Does he think it's a good idea? And why wouldn't he? Because he would get money, right? He's got the greatest golden parachute. I've said this many times doing this show. Steve Perry made out like a bandit in 1998, and he's still reaping the rewards, but he's very finicky about what he wants to get involved with. And if his name is on it, it's going to have to go through Steve Perry. The argument from Neal Schon is, hey, we're out on the road. We're keeping this thing going. You're in your basement and you're not doing anything other than every so often you make a statement. And Neal Schon recently has been correcting him. When Don't Stop Believin' was said to be the greatest or biggest song of all time, maybe both, Perry said, wow, thanks, Mom. Thank you, Mom, for bringing me to the drum sessions or whatever the instrument Perry learned when he first started getting into music. And Neal Schon's like, hey, Steve, hey, we're out here. We're playing concerts. Remember us? Journey, the band. And I think both guys can take credit for what's happened. Perry fans are definitely going to be more partial to the classic catalog. And many of those people have not listened to Journey since, 1996? Since Trial by Fire was out there. People acknowledge that there's a Journey still, but they kind of ignore it. Even the media, when Journey's last album came out, they were making fun of it. They were kind of making fun of songs. They're like, what does this song sound like? Song that sounds like Separate Ways, and they're just kind of goofing on it. So I don't know. There does seem to be a little bit of a bias in the media against the current Journey lineup. There's definitely a bias against Neal Schon to some degree in the media, because Neal has blasted people in the media saying that they kind of sow division between himself and the other guys in the band. This is when Kane and Schon were fighting. And now there's this issue with Steve Perry, which I think is going to continue because Perry wants to still have some control. One of the things we know about Steve Perry is back in 1986, he took full control of everything. And the other guys said, yeah, as long as we can have Steve in our band, Steve, you call the shots. That's why you had Randy Jackson, and you lost Ross Valerie, you lost Steve Smith, both of whom, by the way, are excellent musicians. And Perry later said he regretted that. He regretted it so much, apparently, he had a coup to try to take over the band with Smith and Valerie on his side. Or at least it's alleged, right? It's alleged. Supposedly, Steve was on the other end of a phone call. And Steve says, nope, I had nothing to do with that. So I think, again, there's tension there. One guy kind of holds the cards when it comes to touring and getting the name out there that way. The other guy kind of holds some of the cards with the old time stuff, the catalog, the creativity. So I don't know who is more impactful, spreading the Journey love around. It's probably Steve Perry, though. I hate to say it, and Perry fans will definitely agree with me. It's probably Steve. So this stuff, I think, gets under the skin of Neal Schon to some degree because he's out there doing the hard work, but making really great money for both himself and for Steve Perry. So anyway, Journey is out on the road right now. So go see Journey if you have the opportunity. Here's Voyage, and you can go see these guys, and they sound a lot like Journey. Yeah, in fact, they do all of the classic Journey catalog. I'm not sure if they're playing anything off of this. It'd be cool if they did one song, say, hey, we got a new song. This could be the way forward, by the way, with bands in the future who become cover bands or tribute bands, but then they could release songs more or less in the style of the band that they're covering or paying tribute to. I think that would be a great way to kind of evolve this and move it down the road. Does the media like that? Nope. Does radio like it? Nope, not at all. I mean, this should have been, I'm sorry, folks, this should have been all over the radio. Go to endangeredcds.com and see their chart. Also, Modern Retro Radio this weekend doing an indie artist weekend. So you can check that out. And again, don't forget Patreon, YouTube memberships, Buy Me a Coffee, which has been very successful. I'm getting coffee almost every day now, and I'm very caffeinated, very happy. But I still need everyone's support because after days like yesterday, you realize the algorithm, yeah, it's not my friend. So just keep that in mind. Thanks for the support. God bless everyone. Please pray for our country. Pray for our elected leaders. Pray for the safety of people running for president, like former President Trump and anyone else out there, like RFK, who, again, put their lives out there to do these things that many of us couldn't do and wouldn't want to do. So, and just pray for your own families and the country and the freedom that we have. We can at least be somewhat appreciative of what we have left. So do that. Be grateful. Try to be grateful anyway. I'll talk to you soon.